Hello, I am Kamal Askar, a master's student from Daegu Institute of Science and Technology, South Korea. I'm working under the supervision of Professor Stefan Rigge from Korea University. Today, I will be giving a short presentation on in-depth microkinetic study of concentration effect on the electrochemical reduction of carbon dioxide on copper catalyst. This work is being collaborated with Edward Sargent Group from University of Toronto, and this presentation is presented in 2129 General Meeting of the Korean Chemical Society on April 14, 2022. So as we know that energy storage and energy convergence are two important factors in energy science. Hydrogen production is being used as a green energy, while the batteries capacitors are being used in IT, transportation, and electronics industries. All technologies we rely on are almost powered by fossil fuels, and burning of fossil fuels releases billions of tons of carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases into atmosphere. So reduction of these species is very crucial. Nitrogen containing species are being reduced into ammonia, which is used as fertilizer and for other industrial purposes, while carbon dioxide is reduced into fuels, chemicals, and some other pharmaceutical medicines. So we can see there is an artificial carbon cycle in energy system. Different techniques and tools are being used to study the electrochemistry of carbon dioxide reduction reaction. But multi-scale modeling also enrolled in this electrochemistry of carbon dioxide reduction reaction. So we can see that density functional theory is used to develop free energy diagram to study electrochemical environment, while microkinetic modeling is used to predict the macroscopic turnover frequencies, rates, etc. While the mass transport modeling is used to predict concentration profile based on the local turnover frequency, depends on buffer equilibria, diffusion, and migration, etc. As the kinetic aspect of the study of carbon dioxide has not get much attention, so we use microkinetic modeling package GateMap in this study to study the carbon dioxide reduction reaction. So catalysis microanalysis package and computational details are enlisted here. The microkinetic modeling is totally based on DFT calculation plus kinetic barrier calculation, including double layer and adsorbate interaction effect. The actual model was developed by Kerenchen Group, which is published in Nature Communication, but we simplified that model just based on the important reaction intermediate and some related limiting steps mentioned in that work. We can see in this diagram the reaction mechanism scheme, which we consider in our study for C1 products and C2 products. And the hydrogen evolution reaction model is also mentioned here. The three elementary step of HER, Olmer steps, and Tefel step, and Hiroshiki step. First, we compared our simulated data with the experimental data at pH 7 and considering carbon dioxide partial pressure at 0.03 bar, while the partial pressure of carbon monoxide is 0. So we can see there is a qualitative and semi-quantitative agreement between our simulated data and the experimental data. At higher our potential, the depletion in C2 products was observed, which is common in both simulated data and the experimental data, but there is no depletion for C1 product. C1 product is linearly increasing while increasing the potential. To understand the partial pressure effect of carbon dioxide, we consider two extreme pressure which we have mentioned in our modeling. So the maximum partial pressure is 10 bar, while the minimum partial pressure is 1 exponent minus 5 bar. So our reaction orders, coverage, and current densities are function of voltage in SHVCK. While the reaction order is calculated by this formula. So we can see that coverage is directly depending upon the current density of different product. So especially the C2 product and carbon monoxide product is directly dependent on coverage of carbon monoxide in both diagram. But some other products like methane, hydrogen evolution reaction They are also depend on product coverage, but somehow they are depending on the voltage as well. So these two models were considered as two-part pH, like pH 7 and pH 14. And we can see that C2 product is highly sensitive to the coverage. So we need to explain this phenomena. So why C2 product is highly sensitive to coverage? We need to explain the reaction order of these all products. So we will consider we will divide these all potential window into three different region, like our low hour potential, then intermediate hour potential, higher hour potential. Lower potential region, coverage of carbon monoxide is 0. So the reaction order is 2 for C2 product, 1 for C1 product, and 0 for hydrogen. And increasing the potential, so intermediate region, we can see carbon monoxide coverage is building up and reaching the saturation of coverage, so which reduce the rate of reaction, rate order to 0.5 for C2 product and 0 for C1 product, while minus 0.2 for hydrogen. So this is the reason why simple BVT models will not work. Now we will consider higher potential region. So at higher hour potential region, coverage drops to 0. It's going to drop to 0 due to higher HER. So this is the also increases the rate orders again to the under standard value. So we can say the all products rate orders are going again to the standard. This is the microkinetic modeling of carbon monoxide coverage as a function of carbon dioxide partial pressure, pH, and voltage. So significant changes of carbon monoxide coverage with increasing partial pressure. But the thing is that the accumulated carbon dioxide could critically modify the carbon monoxide coverage, in particular the transition region, these regions, where the carbon monoxide coverage is just increasing. This is the microkinetic modeling of turnover frequency of all products which we have considered in our system, like methane and C2 products, CO, carbon monoxide, and hydrogen evolution reaction. But there is a good correlation generally between carbon monoxide coverage and C2 products turnover frequency. But modulation of carbon monoxide coverage using CO2 partial pressure leads to significant increase in C2 turnover frequency, especially this region. So to recapitulate our presentation, we presented a refinement of a microkinetic modeling approach for carbon dioxide reduction reaction, and we compared our simulated result with the experimental data, and there was good agreement. The potential dependence of C2 and C1 products can be rationalized through difference in rate limiting steps, because different products have different path, different rate limiting steps. While the activity of all products are function of our carbon dioxide partial pressure, while coverage is independent of carbon dioxide partial pressure, especially in the lower potential region. And we also found the one important answer, that how do these two parameters, especially pH and partial pressure, affect selectivity. So carbon dioxide partial pressure very